Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making? Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations.
What's up, Prime Real Estate Network listeners? It's your man, LarryWBrooks, a.k.a. the Texas Real Estate King. Hey, when you get a moment, go ahead and go over to shoplwb.com. You can see the Pure Hustle merchandise that we have over there, some of our newer items that we have in stock, and of course, I got all the books that I've authored. I'd love for your support. You have a great day.
Good day. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network Live. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this week, and we have a really exciting guest planned for you all. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. I invite you to get involved in today's show. You can leave myself or the Texas Real Estate King a relevant question in the comments section, and we may very well be able to get your question answered on today's live. Without any further ado, I want to take some time to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, he's a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, and a proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand. I want to thank him so much for sitting in with us this week on the Prime Real Estate Network Live. And I'd like to introduce the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. How are you?
I'm good, my man. What's going on, Prime Real Estate Network listeners? We appreciate
Hey, man, good to have you here with us this week, brother. Live from the Brooks and Davis Education and Training Center, man. Look, how is everything going over there with you, the team over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, man, over at 2600 South Loop West?
South Loop West, man. Things are good, man. No complaints at all. As you can see, I got our proclamation behind me. You know what I'm saying? Some Leadership Houston stuff. I mean, some TRLP stuff myself and Michael did here. But things are going smooth, man. We continue to add to the team. We're looking for growth. So if anyone knows anybody out there that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please tap in with us. In addition to that, if you know anyone that's looking to get into this industry and they want to be on the license side of it, where they're helping people that are looking to buy, sell, and invest in real estate, we'd love to teach and coach them up, man. So that's kind of how things been going, man. It's been a good, fast start to the new year. Just to give some insight on what we're doing here with the team, Michael is hosting a Build Momentum series that's been going amazing. Has most of the agents participating in it in order to help them grow their business, how to help them build continuity, and to just really help strengthen the mindset when it comes to being in a sales environment, a sales combat business, I like to call it.
I'm glad you brought that up, Larry, because there's so much going on over at Brooks and Davis that we would like to add and put a spotlight on. I also want to let everyone in our audience know that follow Brooks and Davis on Instagram, follow the Texas Real Estate King, follow myself, because we've also partnered with the city of Jersey Village here in Houston, and we will be educating buyers, sellers, investors in everything about wills, probate, and how real estate transfers within families and how the generational wealth transfers. So follow us online, learn everything about that. That's an event that's coming up this weekend or following weekend, but just check us out because that's something that's really, really important. I want to make sure everyone who hears the sound of our voice learns everything about not only how to generate generational wealth, but how to protect their assets and protect that generational wealth. What brings us to the subject of today's interview, Larry. One of the great things about hosting this platform with you is that through networking, relationship building, collaboration, we've been able to meet some of the best and brightest as far as business owners, entrepreneurs, and wealth experts, wealth generation experts. So could you share a little bit with our audience about some of the networking you've done lately, how you were able to connect with this week's guests, and how we were able to gain their commitment to sit in with us for an interview?
Definitely, definitely. So, I love to tell the audience, man, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this out. Try to get this out to 1,000 other people. It kind of helps the algorithm. It helps us to be able to also bring on more fluent guests like the one we have today. But kind of like you were saying, Rick, I was out at a networking event, actually supporting a Brooks and Davis agent that was hosting something with a team of other agents and mortgage people in the industry, as well as insurance people in the industry. Had an opportunity to meet today's guests along with our team. They were out there in full force. I want to say that they were actually even some sponsors of the event because they were on stage, they were speaking and talking about their business and dialoguing about that. So just to be able to get the commitment to have her to sit in with us today is amazing. I love the idea of just being able to really just have her share what she does, her platform, and just to, bring business in her direction, man. It's always one of those things that help us not only here with the Prime Real Estate Network, but the people that we bring on. That's some of the things that we love to do.
No, I appreciate you sharing, sir. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce this week's guest, this outstanding entrepreneur and business professional is a team member over at Priority Insurance. We have her on the show because she's a foremost expert in asset and wealth protection. I want to thank her so much for sitting in on the Prime Real Estate Network Live. And I'd like to introduce Miss Tania Murillo. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you, Larry and Rick, for having me today. It's a pleasure being here today.
Good afternoon, Tania. Thank you so much for sitting in. Larry and I always joke every week that we host our show on the busiest day of every business owner's work week. So thank you so much for taking some time out your Thursday to sit here with us. So, Tania, for the members of our audience who are meeting you for the first time,
it is.
I know it's really funny because there's so many members of our audience, Tania, who's meeting you for the first time today. So could you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Priority Insurance and why you're so proud to be a member over there and a teammate with everyone over at Priority?
Of course. Well, first and foremost, hi, everybody. My name is Tania with Priority Insurance. I've been in the industry for now 12 years with Priority over 8. I love working with John, the boss. We have, over 40 companies. We shop around for insurance for you, for everybody. We speak English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Chinese as well. And so, excuse me, I'm a little bit nervous to be here today. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there. I'm a little nervous, but thank you so much again for having me. We're a team. We all help each other one way or another. Our goal is to make sure that the client understands what they're covering, mainly for their asset, because buying a home is just not buying a home. It's their future. It's for their family. And it's an asset. So want to go ahead and make sure that they're covered 100%.
So you talked about protecting assets. That's one of the things that's a foundational priority for Larry and I when we're sharing our message with our audience. So not only just real estate, you talked about that as an asset, but could you just talk about the type of products that you guys have over their Priority that helps to protect real estate, family, and the wealth that everyone in our audience is working so hard to generate?
Of course, we have our HO3 product, which of course protects the residential single family. We have the dwelling fire for investments. We have renters for anybody that's renting their home, renting a home. We have for land as well, commercial. That's mainly our niche, and then of course auto as well.
You know, Tania, one of the things, and it doesn't matter how long we've all been in this industry, we meet so many people who would make so many great decisions if they just had access to education and information.
Absolutely.
So in your experience, Tania, for homeowners or renters who aren't insured currently or don't have policies in place to protect themselves, how are they first introduced to you? Do you meet a lot of your clients at networking events? Do they meet you online? Because I want people in our audience who hear this message to feel comfortable reaching out to you directly after this interview. So how can one reach out to you immediately after this if they want to move forward and learn more about protecting their wealth and assets?
Usually I meet them in networking event. By giving me a call. I'm always on the phone. I do speak Spanish as well. Clients can come into the office if they feel more comfortable to do one-on-one, so I can go ahead and go over the coverages or any questions that they might have for me. They can reach out to me via social media as well, or just a simple text, but I go based on whatever the client's needs are. If the client wants to come in and sit down to just make sure and go over the coverages or just any questions, they're more welcome to come into the office. We're always available.
You know, one of the things that when I'm especially working with first-time buyers,
Mm-hmm.
people who are transitioning from apartment living to their first residential home, it's like it seems so many moving parts that they can seem overwhelmed with. Oh, I got to call this number to get this, and I got to reach out to this person to get that. One of the things that I've always been really impressed with, not only Priority, but you specifically as an expert and a professional, is that you're able to service so many needs, even if they aren't the things that would seem obvious, like homeowners insurance. So members of our audience, Tanya, can you talk about how you or members of your team can help with maybe life policies, auto policies, and just as a total home and a total family, how can you try to help people cover themselves on all bases?
So how we help and service the client is mainly one of our priority. We always go based on, the coverages, just mainly answering their questions and what they're needing.
Right.
Servicing the client is our priority, and making sure that they understand what they're getting and they're getting covered is our priority right there.
Outstanding. So you've been in the industry for more than 10 years. You're almost 10 years at Priority, which lets us know that you worked with companies before Priority.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who are newly licensed or new in the industry, could you talk about what it is that you saw in Priority that you may not have seen in your first insurance brokerage that helped them to stand out and motivated you to be with Priority for so long?
the help the help that John gives us and provides us. He will help us in any way to go ahead and meet our goal, help us understand that every carrier is gonna, bring in the help, calling, underwriting. We do work with a lot of carriers. We have a majority of the carriers and most of the agencies, and I love that about Priority Insurance, but mainly the support system that we have with John.
And I like to do this, especially with so many of our new agents here at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm that watch our show every week. I try to help them gain a little bit of perspective from every seasoned professional that I have the opportunity to interview, like yourself. So when you think about all the things that it takes to be successful in your role over at Priority, could you share with our audience what your favorite part of the job is and the part of the job that was the most challenging for you when you started, but you've had to work to overcome that challenge?
One of the hardest that I'm going to say was the networking.
Oh, wow.
Mainly because, well, not really. That came a little bit after. It was doubt. I was very doubtful. I went to one networking event and I didn't see anything coming through. And then it took me a long time to understand that this process takes time. The meeting people, the following up, the getting to know them, for them to get to know you, for them to get to trust you.
Yes.
It's a process, everything. It took a minute for me to be like, okay, I get it. I have to be patient. I gotta do what I gotta do and just keep moving forward until, I get somebody. And it took one person to trust me for everybody to start coming along and just, hey, I got your number from this referral, this person. But it took me a minute to understand
No,
that
and I
this
thank you
is a
so much.
process.
I thank you so much for your transparency because I think it's going to really serve members of our audience well to hear that there's someone like you with as much experience and tenure in your position that went through some of those same doubts that they may have as someone who's newly licensed. But now, once we made it past that initial barrier, what are some of the things that are most fulfilling about your role now? What are some of the things that just make your heart flutter and you feel great about what you do and how you help people in your position?
Mainly hearing from a client, thank you for explaining this in detail. Thank you for taking the time to make me understand what I'm getting covered. And just them letting me know that for them to trust me mainly, because it takes a lot of trust, not just anybody, but overall everybody, my referral partners, my clients, just everybody. It's a great feeling to know and to hear when everybody, they're very happy with you. They know that you're taking time to explain and just make them understand what they're getting covered for and what they're purchasing from you.
You know, one of the things that I've always felt is invaluable about people who serve in your role is that you always have an opportunity to provide comfort for people in their toughest time.
Yes.
Um, I can only imagine how many times you've gotten calls from clients when it's really a tough and challenging time for them and their family,
Yes.
and you've been able to put them in the right direction with people, members of your organization that can help them learn more about their policies, take advantage of any benefits that they have coming from them. So from that standpoint, how often do you find yourself almost like a trusted advisor or extended family with your clients, especially when they call you in those tough times?
99% of the time.
Right.
I have, when I reach out to them to get their information, usually 1 out of 10 in that moment will tell me, hey, right now is not the time. And they start explaining what's going on with their situation. And all I can do is just comfort them,
Right.
because at the end of the day, we're still human beings. And so just making them understand that I'm still here for whatever they need um, gives me a lot of comfort and makes them know that, hey, it's okay. We'll work on this. We'll take time and we'll figure it out one way or another.
And this is something that I want to make sure we touch on in this episode, especially with our podcast and our stream having a real estate basis. Is there a rule of thumb as a professional that you could share with our audience as far as in comparison to how much their home is worth or how much they're buying as far as their home, how much insurance or life insurance they should have to protect that asset? Is there a general rule of thumb as far as percentages or how much you should have in comparison to how much your homes are to make sure everything's covered? You have any advice from that standpoint?
So, my advice to every client that comes through my door is you need to understand the difference between an actual cash value and a replacement cost. As long as your home is at 100% replacement cost, we can insure it. If the house is for 250, we can insure for, oh, what happened there? I'm so sorry about that.
No problem.
We can insure it over it, or we can always add additional coverage to just make sure that it's covered more and you're comfortable with that coverage. We can always play around with the system to see what else we can do to just be sure that they know that they're 100% covered, and that if anything were to happen, they're going to be okay.
And I thank you so much for sharing, because I wanted to ask you that question while we were doing this interview, because I will say maybe 4 times out of 10, you have those first time homeowners who will inquire to me about what type of products are out there to protect them and their mortgage and make sure if anything were to happen to them or their wife, that they don't lose the property. So thank you so much for touching on that topic.
You're welcome.
Because I want everyone, especially our new agents, to know that that's a conversation that they can have at closing. They have you, Ms. Tanya, as a referral for any questions that may get a little deeper than they feel comfortable asking. But I wanted to definitely touch on that. As far as you, your family, being a business owner, how supportive has your family been, and how much do they add or provide you with that allows you to go out, network, meet new clients, service? Like, what type of support do they provide you? Because we have so many business owners that watch, and we always have to give those shout outs to our family because it's not easy, because we always have to like be on the move. So
Yes.
how supportive has your family been as far as your entrepreneurial ventures?
I could go on about this maybe every day or just about every day. My husband is my biggest supporter. I can honestly say that without him, my mom or my dad, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. Um, it's a great pleasure to have them by my side. If I need anything, I can just give them a call and say, "Hey, I'm going to this event. I need this." And my husband's always on the run, trying to figure out how to help me out to get me to that event.
Right.
Or just my parents, if I need help with my daughter and my husband can do it, they'll do it.
Right.
They'll jump in, they'll bring in whatever they need to bring in. But my family is my number one support, my support system, and without them, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today.
You know, I appreciate you for sharing, because I think sometimes when we're out and we're at events and we're meeting new people, sometimes the people we meet may not necessarily appreciate the evolution that we've gone through to be the person that we are at the time that we meet people.
Exactly.
So I appreciate you for sharing a little bit about who allows you and how your family allows you to be you in the public space, because it's you have to be forward facing, you have to be a public figure to really be successful in what it is that we do. And
Yes,
sometimes, like you mentioned earlier, it takes time to get comfortable
it does.
being a public face from that standpoint. So I want to ask you this, Tanya.
Yes, it does.
I know it can be tough sometimes. And I want to ask you this. When you think back to your upbringing as a young lady, were there any members of your family or your inner circle or family friends that owned businesses or were entrepreneurs that may have been an example for a young Tanya without them even knowing it?
Yes, two people actually. That's my father-in-law and my husband's grandmother, Jay Reese and Stella Reese. The moment I met them, I was like, okay, life changing.
Wow.
And so just speaking with them, the idea of just growing and learning grew in my mind, and just by talking and see how they started with nothing and see how they've become or who they are now made me want to be that person.
Oh, wow. That's outstanding. And the reason why I ask that question every week, Tanya, to all of our guests is because sometimes in the moment, we may not truly appreciate the role we have in our family and how that next generation is observing and watching and seeing what you, myself, Mr. Brooks, the things that we do on a regular basis. And even if tangibly they may not know it, you may be flipping a switch in them that
Yes.
when they get in a position to make decisions on how they want their life to go, they'll think about all the things they've seen Tanya doing, and it'll give them a little extra confidence to feel like, oh, I can make that happen. So I just want to ask you that question. I want to thank you so much for being so transparent, because I know a lot of these questions are business related, but then they're also a little bit personal. But I feel like as people who are out here with clients that we service, I feel like they should have a chance to know us as a full 360.
Yes.
So I thank you so much for doing that. And also for the members of our audience and your clients, new clients, past clients who haven't seen Tanya in a while, Will there be any opportunities in the near future for us to meet, greet, interact with you personally, learn more about you or everything that's going on over at Priority?
Of course, you guys can always reach out to me via email, phone, or just if you want to come and say hi to me and just come and sit down and talk about life. I'm always available for anybody. I am planning on hosting future events. So that is something that I look forward to. And I want everybody to, our audience to come in and just learn. If you have any questions or any doubts about your insurance or just anything in particular where you're like, I don't know the answer, but let me go ahead and ask Tania. I'm here. At any moment you guys see me, please stop me. I'll be able to answer anything.
I want to thank you so much. Tania, could you share your social media handles and any contact information that you feel comfortable sharing with our audience?
Yes. My phone number is the 832-998-2386. And I'm on social media, Facebook. You guys can look me up as Tania Murillo. And then, of course, my business one on Instagram, which is at Insured by Tania.
Thank you so much, Tania, man. This has been a great interview. I want to thank you so much. And I ask you humbly, keep Larry and myself up to date with anything that you guys have got going on over at Priority.
Of
If
course.
you would ever like to sit in on the show again as a co-host, you always have a seat here with me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
I look forward to meeting with you in the future at a networking event or anything that you have going on over at your office. So thank you so much for sitting in with us, Tania. I really appreciate your time, and it's been a great interview, and I'd love to talk to you soon.
Thank you. Again, thank you so much for having me.
Have a great day, Tania.
Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye. Man, that was a great interview. I once again give a huge shout out to the team over at Priority Insurance. Huge shout out to Ms. Tania Murillo and the team over at Prime Real Estate Network Live. I want to give a huge shout out to the team over at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, our executive producer, Jay Joseph behind the ones and twos. I'll give a huge shout out to the Texas Real Estate King as always. If you need anything, I'm always here for you on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. I urge everyone in the audience to like, subscribe, share the show. Helps us in the algorithm, and it helps us to continue to bring great hard-hitting interviews to you every Thursday at the same time. So until next week at the same time, when it's time to tap in for the Prime Real Estate Network Live, I ask everyone in the audience to please be safe and be blessed.